Hey, Doug Walker here. I just saw the Lego Movie 2, the second part. Give you a little background what I thought of the first film. First Lego Movie, I thought was fantastic. I think just taking an obvious advertisement and turning into something so good people are upset it doesn't get nominated for an Oscar, that's really an accomplishment. Lord and Miller, I think, are on friggin' fire right now. I think they're really just knocking it out of the park. Now we have this follow-up, the second one, which is not directed by them, but it is written by them. So you're still getting, it's still a direct sequel. And this one is also really good. I don't think it's as good as the first one, but my brother and I were talking on the way out. We both agree. Sort of the themes and ideas in this one are better. The comedy and the delivery the first one has down a lot tighter and a lot better. The setup for this one is that, honestly, you can kind of guess it just based off of the end of the first one, because I was saying to myself, well, what are they going to do in a second film? Because it's... Okay, I guess you have to spoil if you're going to talk about this one. You have to know what the first film is about to go into the second one. So if there's going to be some first film spoilers here, sorry. You got to know that. So it's revealed at the end of the first one that this is all in a kid's head, or mostly in a kid's head. That part I didn't like, but it's mostly in a kid's head. The imagination part, it's him. It's actually about him interacting with his father. And they say at the end, we gotta let your sister play with you now. And that's pretty much what this is about. And that's a great idea. You can kind of do a lot of various things with it, and they do. And so it's pretty much kind of the sisters' Legos and toys coming in, and they're not always getting along, and sort of she has her own world and he has his, and his is kind of changing now because of her, and then hers is kind of changing because of his. And they pretty much interact off each other, and the sister toys pretty much come and kidnap some of the boys' toys, so now he has to go, the Chris Pratt character has to go and save them, and the sister's planet, sister's world, the Sistar is actually what it's called, is very tempting, and it's ruled by this queen, that's this great animated character that can become anything, it can look like anything, and she can transform into, whatever she like, and it's just some great animation. This film is wonderfully animated. I mean, just the speed and the energy and the angles are really great. And Chris Pratt's character, I forget his name, I'm sorry, comes across his character named Rex, and he's kind of the version of himself he's always wanted to be. He's like this very, very tough and gruff, superhero. He has like raptors that do computers and work out and stuff like that. And he tries to learn how to be more manly from him. So that's the basic setup, and I won't go into spoilers or anything like that. Pretty much the jokes in this, for the most part, are really good, and they're very much like the first one. The humor in the first one is great. But it's weird because you'd have like maybe 3 or 4 just great jokes. Like, man, are they thinking out of the box? Or man, do they know what we're thinking? And then, like we're going to predict the joke, and then they'll go like 3 or 4 steps further. And then you'll get a joke that is either just like that first step, where it's just a very basic setup, deliver, and there's nothing that funny about it. Or even some that just they're just not even remotely funny. Like there's one where one of the characters lands on Wonder Woman's invisible jet. So you just see her flying, and he lands on it, he grabs her, throws her out, and steals the jet. And she goes, "Wait, my lasso's in there." Why is that funny? Like there's a couple jokes like that where you just kind of scratch your head and say, man, that kind of died. Which is a shame because, like I said, you have 3 or 4 jokes in a row that are just real fantastic, and then you'll just have something that's just like a real head scratcher. Like, why was that meant to be really humorous? But that still majority of jokes work. The sad thing is when a joke doesn't work, they kind of linger on it and hold on it for a while, and that's the worst thing you can do for a joke that doesn't work. So you do have those kind of awkward moments. And it's a little longer, too. The first one really felt like it flew by, it hit the exact notes it needed to hit and didn't overstay its welcome. I can't say this one overstays its welcome. Like, it ends on a good note. It's more that there's some parts in the middle that you feel could have been snipped or could have been shortened. For example, this one's a musical, and it's great. Actually, this really made me realize how much I miss I miss songs in animated movies. I feel like animated films now are trying to be more grown up. They're trying to sort of hit every fan base, and so they try to keep songs out. You know, at least traditional singing like a musical song, a kind of film, it's not something where they just play a pop song and it's like that. That doesn't count. I'm talking about actually like I'm gonna sing what I'm feeling kind of musical. And I realize how much I miss them because so many of these musical numbers are just so grand and so cool and so funny and so creative and so colorful. And just with animation, you can just do so much more than with live action and so quicker and so naturally and just so freely. But there's maybe one or two too many. And you know what? I bet everyone's gonna have the exact same song where they think about it because the movie itself says, really, we're doing another song at this song. It's the Queen has 2 songs in this, and the first one's fantastic, and the second one's not even that bad, but it's too much like the first one. And the visuals are very much like the first one, and it's not a bad song, it's still kind of funny, but yeah, the whole film kind of works like that, where you're kind of like, this is good, but you did this? Oh, really? There's another one? So, but it's never painful. It's never something where you're kind of rolling your eyes like, oh man, this is awful. It's something that doesn't necessarily work all the time. But with that said, kind of the ideas that they're working with, especially with the idea of these 2 worlds colliding and, especially, there's this song the Queen sings about not being evil. And when it's kind of revealed what it pays off to, it's actually really funny. And I think the other thing, too, there's, again, without going into spoilers, there's obviously going to be a surprise about who Rex is, because who is this guy? This guy just comes out of nowhere and suddenly he's saving the day or whatever, so there's obviously going to be a surprise with that. And when they first reveal it, I'm kind of like, well, okay, I kind of saw that, but not in this way. The way they're doing it seems kind of weird, almost sloppy, but then during like the final fight in this, between Chris Pratt and this Rex character, he kind of even acknowledges what this is, and it's kind of like, okay, alright, but I thought they were going to go more kind of like the Toy Story 2 route. Again, I won't say what part of Toy Story 2, but if you see it, you'll know what I'm talking about. I thought they were going to do more of that, but this gets, I guess, more imaginative, but I feel like it should have been a little bit more simple of who Rex was. But still, in terms of, again, tying back to kind of the ideas and the themes of what they're doing, it's good and it works. The songs are very catchy. There's literally one called, what was it? Not gonna be able to still. No, now I'm forgetting the lyrics. Oh my god, the whole song is about not forgetting it, and I was humming it all the way home, and now I'm forgetting it. You probably heard on the radio, something about you can't get the song out of your head is pretty much what it's called. And I didn't until now, so maybe that's what reviewing live does to you. Like, your brain panics so you can't think of that song. But when I get in the shower tomorrow, man, it's gonna come right back. So, yeah, man, I'm trying to think. It's just a good movie. It does not work as well as the first one in terms of the comedy, but the animation is better. I think the ideas are better, and kind of like the first film, even though I like what they do at the end where they show what this all is, it did get a little heavy-handed at the end of the first one. Like, again, you could have made the reveal a hint shorter and not have to spell it out as much. This one does the same thing where I felt like, man, I would have loved this idea even more if they show less of the human world, and you kind of had to put together what was going on, between these 2 worlds, between brother and sister, which they reveal very early on. This is like a fight between brother and sister, but as you're watching and you're kind of interpreting it, at the end, they show you what was really going on in all those moments. And it's just like, you didn't need to do that. Like, we could have figured it out. But again, that's kind of nitpicking. Oh, and I will say this, even though I like this movie, this is going to sound weird. The best part of the movie is the end credits. And it's not even like a visual thing, though visually they're done fine. The song they play over the end credits is very funny. So stay for them. There's nothing at like the end of the credits, like there's no reveal there, but the song while the credits are playing is very, very funny. So stay for that. It's, like I said, I just looked over, I said, I think that was the best part of the movie, and that was a good movie. So yeah, I can't think of too much else. There's just something about Lord and Miller that they think out of the box, and like, I mean, everything. What was that Solo movie gonna be like? God, that's all I'm thinking now. It's like, this was, they had a preview, 2 previews for Toy Story 4 before this film started, which is really odd that they had 2 of them. And after seeing this, I'm like, I'm optimistic, I'll wait, I'll see, but it's like after watching this, it's like, man, it's just, I feel like these are the people, these 2 that are really doing new things, and they're doing it in the least likely places. They have this movie that was supposed to be a commercial. It's literally called The Lego Movie, and people are upset that it didn't get nominated for an Oscar. And then they did The Spider-Verse, which was obviously supposed to be another reboot of, this cinematic universe, like it was like what Sony tried to do with Spider-Man, what they tried to do with Ghostbusters, and didn't work. And this was the most obvious of it with Spider-Verse, and they just turned into something fantastic. That did get nominated for an Oscar. So these 2 are on fire right now. And so far, these are the 2 that I'm just so excited because I'm seeing things that, people would not put this much effort into. They wouldn't put this much energy. They wouldn't put this much creativity. Not that they wouldn't put creativity, but they wouldn't put this much. Like, these are really thinking out of the box ideas and visuals, and they're funny and they're charming, and you want to watch them over and over and over. So, yeah, anything their name is attached to now, I'm just like, I gotta see, I gotta watch. So yeah, it is really, really good, and it does kind of push the idea a little more, which I like. It isn't just a retread. There's parts you might watch it and be like, okay, well, this is, well, we've seen this kind of idea before, but they do push it. They do kind of add a little bit more to it. They establish this world, and then they build on the world, which I really like. So yeah, it's a good movie. I'd like to watch it again, honestly. I still would, because the big screen visuals are really, really cool, like I said, especially during the musical scenes, and I would watch it again. I do wish, like, it could have been trimmed down a little bit, and like I said, just some of the unfunnier jokes, but I mean, the ones that work are still really, really funny, and the visuals are great. It's super creative. It's a good story, good ideas. It's a solid movie, so go check it out. Let me know what you think. That's about it. I will see you next time. Take care.